Hello everybody, welcome back to a new sewing vlog, a new behind the scenes kind of video. Again from my sewing studio late in the night. It's again after 10 here in the evening. But I wanted to show you the progress on the Jacquard jacket that I started in the beginning of the week. And I hope you can hear me. I left my microphone here on the table because I want to be able to close the jacket and it's going to make a lot of noise otherwise. But as you might remember, if you saw episode 6, I think it was, I was starting on this jacket. You can see it here a little bit closer. And I was making it in this fabric, which you cannot really see in this light. But this was the toile, so just a little bit of a reminder, I was having some adjustments to make. So the narrow shoulder adjustment and the sway back, this was hanging a little bit in the back. Also, the sleeve was this is the toile, so the test garment. The sleeve is way too long, as this sleeve is also getting a cuff here. I don't know, it was 4 centimeters, I think, wide, the cuff. So it would be really, really long if it was left like this. And I was thinking to shorten the whole jacket by 2.5 centimeters. And also, you see the armhole is somewhere here and my armpit is a little bit higher. So also raising the armhole. And I was planning to take 1 centimeter, I think, per side seam, but in the end I'll show you I took a little bit more. So these were the changes for what I was planning last time. And I'm going to show you the pattern and then I'm going to show you how the jacket is looking now. So based on the toile, I decided to let's start with the shoulder. This jacket has front and back yokes, and this is the method that I used now for the shoulder adjustment. Normally I'll put a line here parallel to the grain and then cut it here, also move the whole thing and then through the seam again, the armhole seam. But this time I used another method where you go from the middle of your shoulder a little bit to the notch. I don't know, this one is the back, to the notch of the armhole, and then you go from the point of the shoulder perpendicular to that line, make a snip, cut from here to here, make a hinge point, and then bring it back. It was in my case 1.5 centimeters. So I used a different method and I like it. I think it's giving a little bit more real the armhole here seam than if I was to throw it back myself. But the other method is working as well. So this was for the narrow shoulder adjustment. For the raising the armhole, and of course I did that to the front and the back yoke. And then I did check to see if those two were going to match together. Of course, putting them as they will be sewn and they were matching. For the armhole, this is the side panel, the back one, and I did raise it by 1.5 centimeters, if I'm not wrong. Let me see. Yes, by 1.5 centimeters, and this is how it's looking. You can see it in yellow. And I was not sure if I did blend a little bit too much into the back, because I was afraid that it's going to be too much fabric, but I think it's a change that I could adjust also later in the fabric. But I went with what I did as a change. I did not make another toile because I was not in the mood for it. So this is how it's looking, and I did blend it just a little bit. It had to go, let's see the front, this is the front. It did have to go a little bit also to the yoke, so it's not only on the side panel. And I was thinking, I have a lot of books from Palmer Pledge, and this one is one of the last ones I bought. There are a lot of fitting tips and tricks and stuff like that in methods in this. I mean, it's their only method, but this book is really, really interesting. There is so much information here for all kinds of problems. The only thing is that in this book, the raising the armhole they are using it by taking the a tuck here above the bust, and that will affect also the armhole and everything like that, but I didn't want that because I was dealing with the yoke and actually everything else was sitting in the right place. In my case, I really wanted to have the armhole just a little bit higher, and this method of only raising the armhole and blending back in the armhole, so from the side seam and then blending to the back and the front, is something that I'm using a lot. Of course, the thing is that also in this method, by shortening the bodice here horizontally, of course it's bringing back the armhole, that's true. But in both methods, you have to adjust also the sleeve head, because otherwise the sleeve will be too big for the new armhole. And I did adjust that. Where is the sleeve? Because this pattern has a 2-piece sleeve, I took 1 centimeter and it was enough. I did measure first to see how much ease I will have with the old sleeve in the new armhole, and I did have something like maybe 3 centimeters front and back, and by taking 1 centimeter did bring that a little bit lesser, of course, and it was just enough to ease in the sleeve very easy. So the sway back, for the sway back, because this pattern has a center back panel and a side back panel, of course making the sway back adjustment, that means that I had to change the center back panel. You can see here it's just, I did take like 1.5 centimeter, and I had to add a little bit of paper to bring it back to the fold, and then these two were taped together at the stitching line, and then I took them apart, and as you can see also the side panel did get a little bit affected and it did get a little bit adjusted. So the sway back adjustment. For the length, I did not shorten the jacket anymore because I was thinking the band itself is 5, I think is 3 centimeters, something like that, and I was thinking that is going to look okay as length, so I did not change the length anymore. I did change the length of the sleeve, and I took I think 5 centimeters, yes, 5 centimeters from the sleeve. I know it was better to take maybe 2.5 from this part and 2.5 from a little bit higher, but actually I wanted to have a little bit more volume here, and I will tell you in a second why. And for the side seams, originally I took 1.5 centimeter. I just pinched, you know, I took on the paper 1.5 centimeter, and then later when I basted the side seams, or I did already sew them, I was thinking, you know, I'm going to take a little bit more, and I took like 1 centimeter extra, so it was 2.5 centimeter, because it was actually quite boxy. I'm going to show you the jacket in a moment on. It's not finished, as I said, but when I was planning to cut it out, I was thinking, well, the fabric, the back of this fabric, and I have here a little bit, I mean, it's nice, but I don't know, I was afraid that it's going to get to look not as nice after wearing it against, I don't know, other clothes and stuff like that. So I was a little bit worried about this jacquard, the back side. And as I said, if I have a little piece extra left, I think to make like a skirt, I will definitely line that. So for the jacket, I didn't want to have a lining. I was thinking to underline it. So looking a little bit in my stash, I was thinking, what should I use? So I remember I had a little piece of this. Can you see it? Oh, you can see it here very well. It's a rather expensive piece of cotton from, I think it's a Robert Kaufman cotton, also from Minerva. I had a piece left over from a pair of joggers that I made. Really nice pants those. So I cut my pieces in the Jacquard, and then I cut the same pieces with the exception of the facing and the collars and the bands. I cut the rest also in this fabric, and I sewed them together to treat them later as one piece. So everything got doubled, and as you can see, this is the inside of the jacket. This is the facing, and the facing is only interfaced with a pretty light interfacing. And to finish the edge of the facing, I used some bias strips that I cut myself, and I just bound all the edges of the back facing. And these ones, of course, the fronts, they are not a big problem because they are already catched in the when I top stitch the front band, because the front band is in one piece with the facing, is turned, it has a fold line here. But I decided to top stitch the first line, to top stitch it against the facing, so the facing is really nice and secure to get buttons and buttonholes. And for the back facing, as you can see, it wants to flip a little bit. I'm just going to make it at the shoulders. I'm going to put it with some hand stitches, and I can even make some slip stitches here because I have the backing. It's not going to go to the front, so that's also another advantage. And yes, so I'm going to put it on to show it to you how it's looking now. So it needs to have the cuffs, of course, and the band. So this is how it's looking now. And of course it's going to get buttons and buttonholes. I have pockets. They are not easy to see. But this is how it's looking now. As you can see, the sleeves are much shorter, but of course I'm going to get the cuffs, and here I'm going to get that little band. And this is how it's looking from behind. I think it looks nice. I still have a lot of room to move. As you can see, I can move much better my arm because my armhole is high. But of course, when you do that, you must be careful not to make it uncomfortable, because I'm going to wear this maybe with only really light sweaters or t-shirts, or like a dress, not this dress but other dresses. So I am really happy how it's looking now. Here is my shoulder point, and my seam is on my shoulder, and I have a little slit here, of course, which is going to receive the cuff. I'm only thinking that probably I'm going to make just a little bit of a fold to bring this sleeve a little bit in here. I think it's just a little bit too wide. I need to see that when I'm going to put the cuffs, but I really like it how it's looking. It feels nice and comfortable, and that's really important. So yeah, this is how it's looking at the moment, and I hope to have it tomorrow done. I saved a piece of, or two pieces of the interfaced fabric to test my buttonholes, shape and style and density of the stitches and stuff like that. And the cuffs, they are also cut here, and also the other band, and it's ready to go. I used a lot these pins. They are really easy to grab, and I really like them, but they are quite thick. They are not really suitable for all kinds of fabrics, but for this fabric they're really, really great. I think they are teardrops pins, and the head is from plastic, so you should be aware that you must not iron over them. But this is how the jacket is looking on the inside. I think it's looking really nice. I did take care to use in my overlocker some gray thread that is really nicely blending with this fabric. And also I took care to have, I had my normal regular 720 machine threaded for construction with gray thread to be sure that I have no stitching lines in pink. And I have an older puff that I used pink thread with for the top stitching with white under thread, again to blend as much as possible with the back, so that is looking really clean and nice. So this is something that I will always take care when I not lining something, that if it's something that is going to be open and stuff like that, to match the thread. But only when it's needed, it's not always needed. So sometimes I'm sewing with, you know, not matching threads. Like in an overlocker, mostly I'll match my needle thread and not so much the loopers if they are not really important. So yeah, so this is my jacket. I think it's looking really, really neat. I even added a label. So very soon I'm going to have it done. I hope to have it done this week. And I want to show you my next project that I'm going to start making. I need to take the pattern out first. And to make a toile for it is going to be Vogue 1780. And I'll put a link here to my profile on Minerva. There you can see my named dress. I took pictures of it and made a post there. And don't forget, also on Minerva they have Vogue, sewn with Vogue challenge or something like that, where they have some really great prices. So you can post there your makes with Vogue patterns, and doesn't matter. Doesn't have to be something bought at Minerva or new. Can be also something that you're really proud of it. You can post it there and make a chance to win some cool prizes at the end of this challenge. So this was for tonight. I'm really excited to have this done and to show the final results, to share them with you. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, give me some thumbs up, and put your comments here under the video. I really enjoy reading them. Take care, everybody. Bye.